Welcome back, everybody, to the Key of E. I'm your host, Nader, and I'm glad that you guys are joining me back on my channel. This is my second weekly upload, and today we're going to be discussing this beautiful Gibson Les Paul Custom that I've owned for about 12 years right now. So, ever since I was a kid, I've always liked Gibson Les Pauls. In fact, I think one of the big things why I like them is because my first, real guitar was a Gibson Les Paul, and that's what I learned on for the majority of my life. Now, this was always a dream guitar of mine. I've always wanted to get a Gibson Les Paul Custom because I love the look. I think it just attracted me so much with the tuxedo, the black and white and the gold. It looked so classy, yet so mean and so elegant. So fast forward to 2013 when I got this guitar. And it was a pretty expensive purchase for me. I think this was the most expensive guitar I've ever paid for. That record got broken years later, but back in the day, in 2013, I think this was retailing for $4,000 instead of the $5,500 that it's retailing right now. So it actually went up in price really a lot. But even then, it was a lot of money. I just got a new job, so I went and decided to, pick up my dream guitar. And I loved it then. I love it now. And I still think it's one of the most phenomenal guitars that I own. Now, let's talk a little bit about specs, okay? So this guitar is your very heavy Les Paul, right? There's no weight relief, there's no modern anything on this guitar. There's no chambering, there's literally nothing that will make this guitar, light. So if you're not a fan of heavy guitar, this one is not yours. I think I weighed mine at a hefty 9-something pounds. Now, when it comes to the guitar itself, it does have a mahogany, it's a Les Paul, so it's going to have a mahogany body, mahogany neck. This one does have a plain maple top that gets painted in black, right? So they don't really put a flame maple top on these. Sometimes I think they do, but for the most part, it's just a plain maple top. It's a real top, but it's just a plain maple. It does have binding on the neck. It has double binding, which means on the back and on the front of the guitar, there's binding. Right, the white binding. It's a 3-ply binding, meaning there's 3 layers of the binding itself, and it does have a really fancy pickguard that is also 3-ply. So it's fancied up, and then it's black and finished in gold hardware. Right now, the pickups themselves are the 498T and the 498 pickups for rhythm or 498R. For rhythm and lead or bridge and or neck pickup. They sound phenomenal. There's going to be some sound clips at the end of the video or the beginning of the video where you guys can hear this guitar being played in clean tones, pretty much bar chords, some solos, some rhythms. There's an intro video that everything was recorded using this guitar. So I do think this guitar sounds great. When it comes to playability, just to be clear here, it is a 50s style guitar. It's a very chunky neck, extremely chunky neck, but I love it. I really like chunky necks. I'm also a fan of slim necks. So before anybody comes to me and just wants to bash me out, I love slim necks as well. But because I learned on 50 styles guitars, this feels very, very comfortable for me. I can, easily make some fast runs. And I can easily, play anything that I want. It just feels really, really, really good. So as far as the neck, it's very chunky. It's a 50 style neck. It's one of those things where you either like it or hate it. I like it a lot. I think a lot of people that play my style, which is, fast, aggressive licks, will probably not pick this guitar up as their, one of their main instruments. So definitely one of the chunkier necks. Now let's talk about the big elephant in the room. This is a 2013 model, and I don't know the years exactly. I'm sure you could look it up on Google, or there's probably a ton of resources on when Gibson started using Richlight versus ebony. This is a Richlight fingerboard. Now, I had no idea that it was a Richlight fingerboard when I bought it in 2013. No clue. I thought it was ebony. It looked black to me. I was like, cool, black. That means it's ebony. It wasn't. It was Richlight. And that's something that people do not like about the Gibson Air. So these Les Paul customs that have Richlight fretboards on them are not particularly desirable. People don't really like them. They just want the real ebony. And I can understand and see why. For me, though, it's been great. I like the Richlight. Do I prefer the ebony? Probably. But I don't think anybody can really tell from a look. Maybe from playability a little bit, but what is, Richlight essentially is just a composite plastic material. So it does have some advantages. One, you can clean it with water. You don't need to, basically condition this neck ever again. And it's been great. And the other thing that Richlight does offer is it doesn't shrink or expand. So your frets are going to be always the same, irrespective of when you do it. I mean, you might have high or low frets. That's a different thing. But the fret ends won't really expand, or the neck itself, the fretboard itself won't expand or contract, meaning your fret wire will remain the same, which is a really good thing, right? But again, it's not a classic thing. It's not a custom thing. It's not a lespaul thing. So definitely on the undesirable side of the fence when it comes to this particular guitar. For me, really, I don't really care. It just plays well, so I'm good with that. Aside from that, it does come with gold hardware. Now, as mentioned, what I paid for this guitar is $4,000, but right now in the market it's about $5,500 to get a similar guitar. Do not come into this guitar with the expectation that the gold hardware, should you play it heavily, will retain its beauty. It's gonna fade. Now, luckily for me, my bridge and my tailpiece have not really faded, and the neck pickup is kind of faded. I don't know how much the camera will pick it up, but the bridge pickup is, it's faded, and that's okay. That's part of the charm for me, because a lot of people want to relic Les Paul or love relic guitars. So I reliced it myself. Woohoo! So that's part of the charm for me. I actually dig it. I love it. I have no problem with it. But if you're one of those people that wants to play it and thinks the gold will not fade away, newsflash, the gold will definitely fade away. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it unless you wear gloves or whatever. And I'm not that kind of person. I buy my guitars to play them. I don't care if they get dinged up or scratched up. It is what it is. There's some finish checking on my neck too that I just recently discovered. It's not a big deal. It's going to happen on these polyurethane guitars, so not a problem at all. There's two types of people. People that buy this guitar for, collection, and they're not going to ever touch it and sell it in a few years. And there's players. I bought it as a player. I play it. I like it. It's been my guitar for 13 plus years, and I'm not going to ever sell it, really, or 12 plus years. I'm not going to sell it. It's going to be mine forever. Now, let's talk about, as far as the fretwork, I just want to say it's absolutely beautiful and sublime. I feel nothing. So they did a really good job on it, and it's been like that. I do have a very interesting story about Gibson themselves and how they handled a situation for me and my thoughts on it. So this guitar in particular, a few years ago, developed a very significant, well, not a few years ago, sorry, about a few months ago, like 3 months ago, developed a very significant bow in the neck. Essentially, when the truss rod was in the neutral position, aka not tightened, not loosened, just in the neutral position, the neck had significant bow, or down bow. So it had basically significant amount of relief. And tightening the neck all the way to basically straighten it out was not working, because it reached a point where if you tighten so much, there's still a lot of relief. So I noticed it while setting it up, and I took it to a professional luthier, and he kept it for a week and called me back and said that he cannot set it up more or tighten it more than I did, and that it requires a whole leveling of the frets and all of the above. And it could be playable, but he can't guarantee anything. So I went and I took this guitar back from him, and I reached out to Gibson. This does have a limited lifetime warranty. Now, big caveat, the lifetime warranty is for the original purchaser, and you should retain the receipt. So if you ever buy anything from Gibson, this is a pro tip for anybody. Please retain your original receipt and register your product because it's non-transferable. So let's say I sell this guitar to person B and they have a problem, they'll never ever be able to get a warranty repair from Gibson because they're not the original owner. Luckily for me, I'm one of those people that I kept the original receipt from 2013. I bought it from American Musical Supply. And on top of that, I am the original owner that is registered to me. So I just reached out to Gibson and I said, took it to a luthier, there's the problem. Here's what Gibson did. They sent me a label. They paid for shipping. They just told me, send us the guitar back. We will take a look. If we, are able to fix it, we'll fix it. If not, we'll just send you a replacement. And I said, okay. I really didn't want a replacement, by the way. So I sent them the guitar. Now, a week later, this guitar just shows up back at my house. I'm like, that's interesting. I just opened the door and there was a big Gibson package. And I was like, what happened? Did they either send me a new one or is it my guitar? Strangely enough, it was signature required. They never knocked on my door. They just left the $5,000 guitar outside. So great when UPS, I guess. So bring it in, unbox it. Sure enough, it is my guitar. I'm like, wow, this is very playable. Mind you, when I sent it, it was unplayable. If I lowered the action, it's buzzy, choky all over. It had to be the action had to be about, oops, I just hit my microphone. The action had to be about this high for it to be playable. And I like to shred, so I really wanted this guitar to be playable. So when I sent it to them, it was a mess. I unbox it and the guitar is amazing. I'm like, what's going on? Why is this very, very playable? So it just played like butter. The neck is fully straight. In fact, I don't think there's any relief on it. I can check right now. Yeah, it's absolutely straight. Right now, some people like a little bit of relief. Me too, which I'll probably loosen this a little bit. But it was mind-blowingly straight and there's nothing, no choking, no nothing. So I really was intrigued because it played good. I called Gibson and, somebody answered to, my correspondent and basically told me that they really didn't see, anything wrong with it. They noticed the excessive relief, but they were able to really fix it by lubing up the truss rod and giving it a little bit more adjustment. So that's one thing. And on top of that, they basically reset up the guitar for me. So they lowered the action, adjusted the truss rod, made sure that none of the frets are, buzzy, choky, gave it a brand new setup as if it was just came out of the factory, all free. Shipped it back to me, didn't pay a single cent. That's a company that stands by the product. I know Gibson gets a lot of flack, and in certain situations, deservedly so, right? When they, jack up prices or when their quality control issues are out of whack. So yes, but it is a company that truly stands by its product. And I'm not sponsored by nobody. I have 40 subscribers, not even, probably 30 something. So that's my opinion. I'm not getting paid for it. That's my experience. Your mileage may vary. I'm sure experiences differ and everything like that. But for me, I truly, was blessed with how Gibson really treated me, and I'm happy about it. So with that being said, will I ever sell this guitar? No. Do I recommend this guitar? I don't know. Do you have $5,500 to spend? You can probably go pick up something for $1,000 that will sound the same or very close or feel the same. So it really truly is a matter of opinion at that point, whether you are somebody who wants to spend that kind of money. I did. I still think it's a great purchase. I still think it's a guitar that I love, and I will end up keeping. What is this guitar good at? Probably rock. It's honestly for it's very heavy. Not the weight, like we discussed. It's heavy. This guitar can play heavy riffs and can play blues and can play a lot of things. It's very versatile. Obviously, the lack of bridge for some people, I like it. It gives it more sustain, but you're not going to be able. It's not a shred machine by any means for a lot of people. I think I shred on it just because I've gotten used to these types of guitars and I like them. But for most people, yeah, it's not a shred machine. It's a really, really rock machine, but it's very heavy. And I think I will try to demonstrate that in the tone section once this video is once this video is over. So, like I said in the beginning, this is a great guitar. I think people would love it. I think if you're a Gibson fanboy or a Gibson fan in general, please pick up this guitar. You won't be disappointed. Hope you guys liked this week's episode on the Gibson Les Paul. Next week, I think we're going to be doing one other guitar. I'm going to keep it a secret, so make sure you like and subscribe to my channel so you find out what the guitar that I'm going to be discussing and demoing next week. It's going to be a good one, that I guarantee. So with that being said, this was the Kia V. I'm your host, Nader. You guys have a great day and keep on rocking the free world.